get into the story. The story started off with an 8-year-old boy named Nick living with his grandma in Norway because his parents unfortunately passed away in a car accident. You know how grandmas love telling their grandson, their granddaughters stories about their past or what they learned when they were young? So that's exactly what Nick's grandma did. She was actually a witchophile, a person who studied witches, but she was retired because she was really old and she couldn't do any work anymore. So every single time that Nick and his grandma had free time, she would tell him about all the facts about witches. So then they decided they were on a vacation, so they decided to stay at a hotel for a few days. And then there, Nick received a present from someone, two white mice. And then since the manager of the hotel did not want any mice in this hotel, or they would get kicked out, he found an empty room to train his mice with. And then while he was training his mice, the members of RSPCC, I think that's like a program of like safety of children or something. And they came in the same room as him, but then there was a screen blocking that group and him, so no one could see him. And then as soon as all of the people got in, which were all women, and they chained and bolted the door so that no one could see what it is. And then a pretty lady, the Grand High Witch, she, as soon as they got in, she said, "You may remove your gloves, you may remove everything." And then this is what they looked like. And then they were actually not members of the RSPCC. They was tricking other people so that they could have a secret place to talk about how to get rid of children. And Nick was like right behind them, so he could hear everything they said, but the witches did not know that he was there. Soon later, one of the witches sent him out, and then the Grand High Witch was really confused because she didn't see any children coming in. And then everybody started to smell him, so they decided to chase him. They got him, unfortunately, and turned him into a mice using the Formula 86 delayed action mouse maker, which turns anybody into a mouse. So, sadly, Nick was living as a mouse. And also, his friend, also, Bruno Jenkins, he was also turned into a mouse for 6 bars of chocolate. Anyways, so even though he was a mouse, he was not any ordinary mouse. He was a very, very determined and hardworking mouse. He would do anything to get rid of the witches who were trying to get rid of the precious children. And then when he found out about the Formula 86 mouse maker, he wanted to steal one of the jars, and he did, because one of the jars can turn at least 500 people into mice, and there was about 200 people in the group. So the witches, well, everybody in the hotel were having a buffet, and then there was like a huge table like with like fancy decorations just reserved for them, the witches, which they thought that they were the members of RSPCC. And then they were having really good food, and then next came the soup. Then Nick took his chance. He didn't waste any time. He took that bottle of jar of mouse maker, and then he twisted the cap and poured it in. But he was a mouse, not a human, so he snuck in the kitchen and then poured it in. And then the cooks found him. They tried to kill him, but then he escaped. I was so relieved by that. And then once the witches tasted the soup, they just like automatically turned into mice, even the Grand High Witch. I was laughing so hard at that. I was like, you deserve it, witches. So Nick was a hero for everybody, all the children in Norway. And I just really, I feel bad for him and good for him at the same time. I feel bad for him because his parents passed away and he got turned into a mice. But think about the bright side. He doesn't have to go to school, take any like CST, no STAR test, no anything. But the sad thing about being a mouse, you don't live that long as humans. Nick wanted to keep living with his grandma until he died. So his grandma said, normal mice live about 3 years. So Nick was really surprised because he didn't want to only live 3 years more with his grandma because he loved her so much. But after that, his grandma said, "You're not an ordinary mouse. You're a special mouse." So she said that he would at least live 9 years. And then, yeah, I don't know how exactly they died or anything because it doesn't tell in the book. But it was a really funny, sad, and pretty triumphant story. Had a good ending, good beginning. First, in the beginning, it seems really, really sad, but towards the end, you start laughing a lot. So there's a lot of these witches book, Roald Dahl books, in your current library that you're probably going at now. So check it out and read it.